But what really causes climate change, you guys got it, it's CO2. If we look back over the last 100,000 years of the planet's history, we see these rises and falls in CO2. And these actually track the rises and falls in the temperature of the planet. And these cycles of sort of 10,000 years of warming and 100,000 years of cooling go back for millions of years. And what had happened was, we talked about 20,000 years ago, that was the end of this last cold period. And then we warmed up out of this cold period into the Holocene, that 10,000 years of sweet climate. And now what we're doing is we're looking at putting carbon dioxide up to levels that haven't been seen for hundreds of thousands, probably millions of years. So we're changing our composition, we're changing the composition of our atmosphere in a way. We've now pushed past the 400 parts per million mark, which is about right here. And we've done it in the last 100 years. So this is a major change in the composition of our atmosphere. Now, often people ask me, how do you know that? And we have all kinds of techniques. I like to talk a little bit about how we know the information we know, because I think it's important. If you drill down through the ice cores, if you drill down through glaciers, there are glaciers in the world still, for the moment, where the snow doesn't melt completely every year, and it stacks on top of each other. And you can see these annual layers. And if you drill down through these annual layers, you can find tiny little bubbles where the air has been captured. And you can measure the old atmosphere all the way back hundreds of thousands of years. And that's how we build these records of carbon dioxide. And you can actually measure temperature separately. So you can measure both carbon dioxide and temperature based on the isotopes that get taken up and the amount of actual CO2 trapped in the little bubbles. So we have a pretty good record. Often people say, well, there was nobody around a million years ago. How do you know CO2 was what it was? Well, this is how we know. We dig it up.